Hi there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Prestige Liquids. My name is Andrew. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here with me today. If you're new to the channel, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you can stay up to date with all future content. If you're a returning subscriber, then thank you so much for joining me on my journey so far. It has been an absolute pleasure having you here with me. Now, in today's video, I am going to be reviewing the Coriole White Port Cask Whiskey from Rochfort Distillery. Rochfort Distillery is a South Australian distillery. They are one of our very many Aussie distilleries, so I'm very proud to give you this review today. Now, recently I was able to get into contact with John from Rochfort Distillery, and he was so graciously enough to, or say, I should say, so gracious enough, sorry, to send me a couple of samples from their latest release, and I can't wait to give you this review. Now, I did have a condition that I would only do this review if I was allowed to give my own and full honest opinion, and that was no problem at all. So, without further ado, let's get into it and let's see how we go. So a bit of information that I've got about this particular whiskey. This whiskey has been aged in a ex-fortified Verdelho cask, which is a type of white port cask. Interesting enough, this particular cask itself held this wine for at least 100 years, so that's absolutely incredible. It is a first fill French oak cask. They use two types of yeast strains for this whiskey as well. They use the distillers and brewers strain of yeast. All the water that they've used has been locally sourced from Mount Lofty in the Adelaide region. So again, pure Australian water. You gotta love that. Now, this other fact that absolutely blew me away, and I don't know if this is a regular practice, but when this cask was coopered, pretty much straight after, while it was still hot, they filled the cask, and then after that they let the cask sit for 3.5 years just to mellow out. It has been kept on the top shelf in their bond house, and yeah, again 3.5 years later, we've got this fantastic whiskey that I'm about to review. Also, non-chill filtered, no color added, so as natural as possible. Okay, now shall we get into the review? Do you want to see what I've got? All right. Now, I should have mentioned at the start of this review that this will be a double review in a sense. I have been sent 2 samples, so this is a single cask whiskey. The first sample has been bottled at 48.5%. The second sample, drawn from the same cask, is a foolproof version, and that is being bottled at 68.6. But I'll get to that one after. Let's start off with the 48.5. So here we go. I'm going to pour these. Sorry, add a bit more. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's get into the nosing. Cheers. Now, straight off the bat, it's quite sweet. Something that you would expect that from a port finish. Most port finishes that I have experienced have always been quite sweet. There's a lot of vanilla that comes off, grapes, apples, pears, so those typical like orchard fruit notes. There's a lot of oak influence in there as well. I also get like a light like fresh cut grass note as well. Honey, there's definitely a honey sweetness in there, and as you explore, there is like a light lemon zest that comes through as well. This is a very enjoyable nose. It's something that, it's one of those whiskies that as soon as you open the bottle, the aroma just starts to fill the room. I mean, I had these samples open, probably sitting about 30 to 40 centimeters away from me, and I could smell it almost as clearly as what I am nosing it out of the glass. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's very fresh. Now, before I get onto the tasting, I mean, check out that color. Absolutely beautiful. It's got some nice legs on it as well. It's quite an oily whiskey, so that's really good. Alright, let's get onto the palate, guys, and let's see what we get. Cheers. Excellent mouthfeel. That ABV has been brought down to a perfect level. Perfect mouth coating. It leaves your mouth salivating. Absolutely incredible stuff. Again, from the palate, I'm getting those. It's very oak and I guess wood dominant. Very spicy as well. I get a touch of like white pepper, and then as that moves along, you get these like cereal notes, apples, raisins, I guess more honey and vanilla. It is such a complex and well-rounded tasting. It's absolutely incredible. The finish is very smooth. It's medium to long. And in terms of I guess flavors, again, more of those cereals, grapes. What else is coming out? Let's see what we can get. More apples, and I guess that and a strong vanilla note that comes through at the end of the, say right at the end of the of the finish. So yeah, absolutely fantastic for that one. Let me just close these up. I don't want to go knocking these over and spilling this beautiful liquid. Now, as I mentioned, this has been aged for 3.5 years, and as part of the barrel, they've used, it's a 100-liter size cask, so very small. So you can imagine these are a very small batch release. So I have to say I'm very grateful for being able to have been sent these reviews. Alright, so I just clean the glass, rinse the palate, and let's get on with the next one. So again, this is the Coriole white port cask whiskey, but this one has been bottled at 68.6% ABV. Again, single cask and cask strength. You've got to love that. Alright, let's pour this one out. Bear with me, guys. This one may be a little bit of a longer review since we're doing two fantastic whiskies. Okay. Let's see what we get on the nose. Okay. Straight away off the nose, you are definitely going to get that high ABV hit. Man, that's a 68% punch to the face right there. That is absolutely incredible. Wow. You'll definitely get a bit of like a nostril sting on that. It's not a bad thing though. That is it's really nice. So straight up, I guess if we're going to get straight into this, the nose is very similar to the, I guess to the standard release at that 45%. Sorry, 46%. What am I going on about? Giving you the wrong information there. Sorry, John. Okay, so on the nose, heightened cereals. Those apple and grape notes are coming through, and more of that honey, vanilla. In this one though, what sets it aside, I'm definitely getting more of a caramel note and a more smoky, and I guess those barrel char influences. Now they have also used a heavy char on these barrels, and that note is definitely coming through quite strong on this on the cask strength version. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's get onto the palate and see what we get. Actually, before we do that, again, I would like to point out that color, absolutely fantastic. Nice golden brown, and again, those fantastic legs. Again, another quite oily whiskey. All right, cheers. That mouthfeel, whoa, that is high ABV. Absolutely incredible. I've tried a few cask strength and higher ABV whiskies before, but never have I had one where as soon as I've had a sip of the whiskey, I have noticed that instant evaporation of the spirit. And funnily enough, this is not a dry whiskey. I mean, considering that high ABV, all that moisture is being sapped out of your mouth straight away. It is very light, it is very mellow. There is a slight dryness, don't get me wrong, but it's not something that's going to make you want to go like running for a glass of water to quickly rehydrate. This is absolutely fantastic. So again, those apples are coming through, honey notes, a touch of like green grape. Let's see, what else? There is slight orange zest on this, so again, those like citrus notes are definitely coming through. And the other thing that I'm also getting is like a very light pine tree sap as well. The finish, surprisingly, not as long as the 46% edition. It is again medium to long, but I feel that the finish on the other release kind of travels out a little bit longer. Again, you're getting it's surprisingly smooth. Normally, from a high strength ABV, you would expect a lot of burn, but you do not get that. There are a lot of, say, vanilla and honey notes coming through, and at the back end of the finish, that barrel char and smokiness come through very, very nicely. I've got to finish this. This is incredible. Fantastic job. Now, to finish up, comparing these, again, single cask, one bottled at 48. Oh man, what have I been doing? I've been getting all these facts wrong. Sorry guys, 48%, not 45, not 46, 48%. That's for the proof down version, and then the cask strength is at the, say, 68. Now, if you are into your high ABV whiskies, the cask strength is one that you will want to search for. It is absolutely incredible. From a more, I guess, entry point to, I guess, a more intermediate whiskey experience, I think the 48% edition is probably a lot more of a well-balanced people pleaser. It's not going to really fight you in any way. You've gotten some fantastic notes coming through, and I think they have really hit the sweet spot in terms of that ABV. So all in all, both editions, if you are able to get your hands on them, I have a feeling that both of these will be quite hard to find, but if you can, I'm sure you will love both of them. But I have to say, my favorite out of the two is definitely the proof down version at 48%. For me, I just feel that it has a better balance to it. It is a lot easier to drink, and just all round fantastic flavors and a wonderful experience. Right, I just have to end this off with saying, John, thank you so much for sending me these samples. I have absolutely loved these whiskies, and I look forward to seeing what else Rochfort Distillery comes out with in the future. Bang up job on these. I can't wait for you to see this review. And guys, I'll leave it at that. I will see you all again on the next video. Give this.